Let's move on to main topic number 2, shall we? And our second main topic today gets submitted to us by Bryson, who writes, "Well, John, it's a movie fan's worst nightmare. Did you see that Governor Gavin Newsom, he's the governor of California, by the way, just ordered the statewide shutdown of indoor activities, including movie theaters for us in California. It also includes all indoor restaurants, gyms, salons, things like that. I am so disappointed by this as I was holding out hope, but that's gone now. LOL. Now I am guessing it is just a matter of time until Tenet is delayed again, since they just lost a massive market." All right, thanks for sending that in, man. And yes, so what basically happened yesterday was the governor of California came out, made the announcement that they are re-implementing a lot of the lockdown rules because COVID-19 cases in California have spiked. And so they made the decision to shut things down. This includes movie theaters. Now, this, it should be pointed out, comes on the heels. If you guys saw the John Campea Show yesterday, we talked about the fact that a lot of the industry insiders are saying that it looks likely that Tenet was going to get bumped off August 12th already. If California shut down its movie theaters right now, I mean, it could be almost a certainty. Now, it basically says this. This is from the governor, who said the following. "This virus is not going away anytime soon," he said. "I hope all of us recognize that. If we are still connected to some notion that somehow when it gets warm, it's going to go away." Clearly, he was taking a jab at another particular politician who suggested that once the weather gets warm, this is just going to go away. Anyway, it's important that we recognize that for those still connected to some notion that somehow when the weather gets warm, it's going to go away, or somehow it's going to take the summer months or weekends off. This virus has done neither. It's incumbent upon all of us to recognize soberly that COVID-19 is not going anytime soon until there's a vaccine and or an effective therapy. So that came from the governor of California. Now, look, I've been pretty clear on my position on this whole thing when it comes to whether it's an indoor restaurant or an indoor movie theater or something like that. I believe there are steps we can take and with proper safety procedures that we can minimize our risk while still being able to go to a restaurant. Again, maybe with some extreme measures, limited amount of seating, requiring masks, lots of hand sanitizer, blah, blah, blah. Same goes with movie theaters. I believe there is a way to do it that we can minimize risk and have it kind of work out. The problem is that it doesn't matter if you have all the right safety procedures if nobody follows them. And that has been a problem. I was telling the story about how a number of weeks ago, Ann and I went away for the weekend to San Diego just to get away for a weekend. And it was great until one evening we were just going for a walk downtown at the gas lamp right around the Comic-Con's convention center there, and saw that the streets were packed. The restaurants had just been allowed to open and the bars had just been allowed to open. And they were supposed to be minimizing how many people were allowed in their facilities at the same time. There were supposed to be all these safety precautions, but none of the places were following those rules. Like you saw, every bar was packed to capacity with people overflowing out into the streets. Lots of people on the streets not wearing masks, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it's fine and good for somebody like me to say, oh, just take the proper safety precautions. And if we take the proper safety precautions, then we're good. The problem is safety precautions are useless if nobody follows them. And so we've been getting a lot of spikes. There is no indication, Rob, in this statement about how long of a lockdown on indoor activities is going to be. Whether it'll be a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. We're about 4 weeks away from when Tenet is supposed to open up. Yesterday I said I think it's a 50-50 coin toss on whether Tenet was going to hit that August 12th date, because they also just did a bunch of advertising on the UFC event this Saturday. They dropped a lot of money advertising on the UFC event this Saturday for August 12th. I think that 50% just dropped to a 30 or lower. So anyway, Rob, you see the situation. What do you think about the closing of the movie theaters again in California? And what do you think the chances are at this point that we're going to get Tenet on August 12th? What do you think?
Well, first of all, I'm angry. And obviously, you know that we were sheltering at home beginning in mid-March.
Yep.
And it seemed to me like we had a handle on all of this, and then they reopen and, ooh, surprise, surprise. You know, you don't follow the rules and boom, COVID cases are skyrocketing all over the place. I mean, there's new outbreaks in Japan, China, They just closed Hong Kong Disneyland and all the movie theaters in Hong Kong. I mean, it's incredible to me that, and then we had all the protests. So there was sort of a storm of things that happened as we were opening it back up the country. And now there's states where they're running out of ICU beds. It's crazy. And you can't knowingly open up movie theaters. I mean, they're trying to pass a law. Mitch McConnell, I just read that they want, as part of the new stimulus package bill, that they want to make companies exempt from insurance claims if you get sick in their establishment. So I'm like, you can't do that. I mean, one of the big problems is getting insurance for things, and movie theaters, if they became incubators for COVID and they open theaters and people go and get the disease, I mean, that's horrible. That would torpedo movie theaters maybe forever. So they have to be really, really smart about this. And with cases skyrocketing, people can't go into environments where they're going to be even socially distanced, sitting in a room with other people, breathing for 2 hours, 2.5 hours. You can't, nobody in their right mind could do that if your business is based on getting people together in auditoriums and serving them refreshments and things like that. You can't do it. You can't do it. So there's really no choice. Now, that said, if movie theaters, look, movies like Tenet, they're expecting to make $1 billion, and they can't open a movie like Tenet across the planet if half the movie theaters are closed. They can't do it. They'll never make their money back. It will actually cost them money. Between what they're going to spend on marketing and what they spend on the movie, it becomes not worth it. Now, it's interesting. I've got a friend in Germany, and he sent me a thing this morning. Unhinged is opening this week. On this weekend, you'll be able to see Unhinged in German theaters. They're socially distanced, and when you buy your ticket, it takes care of all that. The seats are already, you already see how socially distanced you are, and it'll be interesting to see as these other markets open and new movies start to play elsewhere in the world, how that's going to go. That said, I just can't see Tenet keeping its date, especially with the numbers of cases that are going up.
Yeah, and you know, you raised a great point about the fact that when the lockdown was in place, guess what? The curve flattened and it started to go down. And then they started slowly reopening. And then everybody thought, oh, the virus is gone. We can do whatever we want. And and here we are. Anyway, guys, question is for you. It seems like we've had to ask this question like 15 times.
Man.
What do you think at this point the chances are? Because listen, if California movie theaters are closed, theaters are going to be closed. What do you think the chances are that Tenet actually hits that August 12th release date at this point? It feels like we have to ask that every couple of days. Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right.